Hi everyone, my name is Anna and I'm Doula UK community coordinator. I'm a doula. I'm based in Nottinghamshire, in East Midlands, and I'm today with Michelle to have a little chat about her douling, about her role in Doula UK, so you can get to know our volunteers. Last time we spoke with Sarah. You can find the recording on our Instagram and probably on the Facebook too. We'll try to have different guests, and today we have Michelle. Michelle, over to you.
Hi everyone. So yeah, I'm Michelle. I am at this time I am the coordinator for mentoring for Doula UK. So I have been a doula for 13 years now, and I joined Doula UK as soon as I'd done my training. So yeah, I've been a Doula UK doula for 13 years as well. Yeah.
Nice.
And I'm in Cannock in Staffordshire in the West Midlands.
Good. Oh, quite close. That's nice.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe you can start from the beginning. Why did you decide to become a doula?
Well, I think I'll be totally honest. My inspiration, sort of in the birth world, for my first baby, who is 27 and a half now. I had the most amazing midwife. She was so amazing, so supportive, and all throughout my pregnancy, every time I went to see her, with sort of some of the wacky idea that I'd found, she was like, yeah, let's do it. And so at the time I'd been reading about home births and water births, and and I went in and she was like, yeah, let's do it. There was no birth pools in hospital at that time, and so she was just like, yeah, you hire a birth pool, I'll go and get trained and we'll do this. And so, for my first birth, I got exactly what I wanted. I was just so blessed to have her as my midwife. And then sort of as I carried on, I have 5 children, and then I had less supportive midwives as I had my other children, and after I'd had baby number 4, somebody said to me, oh, you needed a doula, because baby number 4, I'd really struggled to get the birth that I wanted. They didn't want to support me with the same birth as I'd had for my previous 3, basically. And so somebody says, you needed a doula. And I went, what? What's one of those? And then found out about it, and it just all clicked into place, that I just thought, yeah, I absolutely needed a doula for my 4th baby, and that is what I wanted to do for other people. And so then I went and did my training, just as I found out that I was expecting baby number 5, and had a very different experience with baby number 5, back to kind of what I'd had with baby number 1, much more supported. And so yeah, it just encouraged me to give, to want to give people that support that I'd had with my first baby. And then sort of just that empowerment of being able to make decisions that you want to make for your birth. Yeah, so that was it.
Amazing. So would you say, like, was there like specific event, or maybe like there is maybe someone that inspires you, or you look like into some other doulas, or like maybe event? It's like something that shapes the journey that we take as a doula, like, what kind of doula we are is sometimes, I feel like it's shaped by maybe some people or maybe some events. Would you be able to relate to that? Is there something that happened for you?
Yeah, like I say, I think because I'd been so well supported with my first baby, my first birth, and I absolutely got the experience that, sort of I wanted, and felt supported with everything that I wanted. With my second baby, I'd moved to a different town, and went along 30 weeks pregnant for my booking appointment with my new midwife, and sort of said, oh, I'm planning on having a home birth again. My first baby was a home birth. I'm planning on having a home birth, and was told, oh no, we don't do home births in this area. And I just didn't know any different. And so baby number 2 and 3, I went to the local birth centre. Luckily, there was an amazing birth centre, and so I don't feel badly about those births, but looking back, it wasn't necessary. I could have had them both at home, but I went along because I didn't know any better, and so I kind of feel like that was what shaped my doula was the fact of you know not knowing what was allowed. That whole big thing that I think doulas are very passionate about is I wasn't allowed, and not knowing any different, it was, and so, and I think, just people knowing what they are allowed to do, the fact that they absolutely can make the right choices, or the choices that feel right for them. That's the biggest thing, because then, sort of when I went on to have the last 2 babies, I did have a home birth with both of those, because I suddenly found out that actually, there was no, oh, we don't do home births in this area. It's like you absolutely can. And so, but feeling like, I that I didn't get, and like I said, there my birth experiences, I was very, very lucky. I always say, it was lucky and informed, because I've always been quite sort of opinionated and happy to sort of fight for what I wanted, but didn't know that, there was no such thing as you can't have a home birth. And so, so it's just people knowing that they can absolutely make the choices.
Yeah, it is, because the birth is a really, how it can happen is a really broad spectrum. Even when you think about, it's not just cesarean and hospital birth, you still have like all the shades of cesarean that can be elective, scheduled, and might be delayed, might be hospital birth, birth center birth, alongside birth center, free standing birth center, and then home birth, free birth. There's like, for the people, who are choosing that what you say, like there is the whole broad spectrum, and yes, not every option will be for you, but still knowing that there is this broad spectrum,
Yeah,
that's
that's it. Sort of, it's something again that I'm very passionate about as a doula, and I say to people, there is no right or wrong in birthing. It's just about what you want, what you feel is right for you, and that is going to be different for everyone. But so just people knowing what their options are, makes such a difference. And I'm so passionate that people know what the options are, and then they can absolutely make the decisions that feel right for them.
and that's the same for the dueling. It's very often I hear, like, sometimes some doulas are not doing just one training, but they actually do another one, just just because they're curious, and they have also options, and there's a whole big world out there, and you can really find your thing. You don't need to
Absolutely.
replicate other options, other people working styles, but it can be your own, totally own person, just kind of take what it's important for you. And yeah, and when we think about the new doulas, because you work as a head of mentoring, so you have a contact with the new doulas. If you think about the 3 tips for the new doula, she just finished the training, and what they should do, maybe not do, any tips, 3 the best tips from you.
I think as a new doula, um, you know, one of the things that I'm really passionate about, is for new doulas to network with established doulas in their area. You know, there is a vast amount of wealth of experience out there. And so, you know, sort of contact other local doulas, you know. So I always say, you know, introduce yourself, invite them out for coffee and cake. I always say, you know, doulas love coffee and cake, and we will talk about birth and postnatal weeks all day long. And so, you know, get to know your local community of doulas, because having other doulas around you will absolutely support you in sort of you know, that role.
That is the reason why I chose volunteering for Doula UK this year and a half. When I finished my mentoring, I now work 6 years. It might be big, like it might be a lot, but for me, it's I'm still kind of finding my feet. Still learning, and I feel like it's constant learning. And what I enjoy the most about the volunteering for Doula UK is I can have a contact with doulas like you, with having more than 10 years experience, and just listen and take on, let things to sink in, your, you know, how, you know, your experience and the whole spectrum of things that happen to you as a doula, as a mentor, and now I'm a new mentor now, so it's even more important for me to learn. And just I'm kind of like, I'm like a sponge now. I'm just so happy every time when we have a Doula UK meeting. I'm like I'm taking
Yeah,
this all in, because it's so important. So even I have 6 years, I'm not very new doula, but I think like it only allow me grow more if I will be around you guys. So as I'm volunteering, I'm taking a lot in. I'm learning so much.
absolutely.
So very thank you about amazing.
No,
Like
I
next
think
tip.
the next one is that you know, again, I have been a doula for 13 years, but I can, you know, I can honestly say, hand on my heart, it's not a job that you can say, oh yeah, I know all about that, because every single family you work with is different. You know, every family you support is different, every birth experience is different, every postnatal experience is different. And so we learn on every single job we do. You know, that there is not a doula out there that can say, oh yeah, I know all about doulaing, because, you know, it's just not one of those jobs. And so this is where I say, you know, when you start out as a doula and you have a mentor in place, you know, absolutely, you know, take advantage of that situation. You know, your mentor is there to support you, is there to you know, sort of ask you those reflective questions, to think about how you practice, and to support you, you know, with sort of starting out, but also, you know, sort of be there to, you know, help you find where you can signpost people to, because, you know, that is the role of a doula. The role of a doula is not to know everything. You know, we're not there to know everything. We're not there to, you know, sort of be there to answer all the questions. We are there to be able to help people, to signpost them to, you know, research and information so they can make their own decisions. You know, but certainly, you know, as doulas, we don't know everything. That's, you know, that's just not possible.
Yes, and things changes. The guidelines changes, the situations in the trust changes. The I would say even the trends changes as well. We had this like a lot of people choosing the home births over the pandemic, which was quite challenging, because sometimes those families were not necessary, they would not necessarily normally choose the home birth. So it comes also with another challenge of working with people who might need a bit more, not necessarily empowering, but like education wise, and just always checking in with yourself, like what is, and with your clients, what are you taking, like where this is coming from, like whatever you're bringing into the table, like where this is coming from, like what is your why. And yeah, as you said, like always learning. That's yeah, it's not possible, like it maybe it is possible to finish the course and just be a doula and that's it, do nothing. There's also the potentially a risk that some new doulas are doing a lot of courses, and I always say start working. Is that before you start doing all those courses, postnatal, drumming, yoga, postnatal yoga, I don't know, baby massage, start working, because you will find out what is your thing before you spend £10,000 on the courses. Then,
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I think, like you say, as doulas, a lot of us, we are sponges. We do love to learn new things, and like you say, I know that I have taken many, many courses on different things that I know actually I'll never use. You know, but I've loved doing them. I've loved doing them. And there are some things that I would have loved to be able to continue to do. For instance, I did the dancing for birth training and I loved it, absolutely loved it. But when I came back, there was very little interest in my local area, and I would have loved to have carried on and done classes, but there just wasn't the interest there. But I'm still happy I did it because I did it for me and I loved it. But you know, like you say though, you can spend a lot of money on different courses that might not necessarily sort of might not ever make the money back on. So
there is
it's
no audience. And I think like at some point during my dueling, I was when I finished mentoring, and I also work with local, more experienced doulas, but I also looked into the marketing specialist and the career coaches. They're not necessarily working with doulas. Some of them didn't even hear about the doulas, but the thing is about the marketing, about the how you want to develop your career. It's going to be personalized whatever you do. So I think that helped me at some point a lot, because I was doing too much courses, and I did the postnatal yoga. I think I teach like one classes, and like first of all, that's not necessarily my thing, because I'm not very in postnatal work at all, which I learned when I do working and I start working. I'm typical birth doula. I love the adrenaline. I love to be in the birth room. I love it. Postnatal work is not my piece of cake, and that's fine. That's fine, because there are so many lovely doulas that do postnatal work. And yeah, but it's just as I said, and as you said, it's just constant learning. You cannot stop, because otherwise it will impact how you're working.
Yeah.
If you stop.
And like you say, the fact that sort of it's learning your local area as well, because as you say, that sometimes the guidelines can change so quickly, and especially COVID threw a lot of things sort of out, and things changed a lot during COVID. But unfortunately, the knock-on effect of that is, as we know, the NHS is struggling, midwifery is struggling, and we're still in the position that there's still a lot of things that are not back to the way they should be. I've just recently had clients who they wanted a home birth and they weren't able to because there wasn't any staff. So then the second choice of the local standalone birth centre, that wasn't an option either, because that's still not open since COVID. And so they had to then go to a hospital much further away, to be on consultant-led labour ward, which is so far away from what their original plan was, just because, things just aren't open to people the way they should be since COVID. That's a really difficult situation, is when people just haven't got the options that they should have.
Yeah, and that's kind of also getting your head around the fact as a new doula that you need to be very flexible, because things change. So it's not sometimes it might be the personal situation of your client that changes, and from planning the home birth, suddenly you can find yourself in the labor ward C-section. But as you said, it's, yeah, like in our trust, we have home birth services that only operates 9 to 5. So, yeah, guess,
which is a bit ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, I had a dinner with some doulas, new doulas, recently, and my husband was there, and he was like, they were worried about attending births during week time when their partners work, and my husband very confident said, but all births happen on weekends, and everyone was like, what? I was like, mine did, and yeah, maybe that his observation, like, yes, maybe that was a true, because most of the births I attended was night or weekends, because people are just more relaxed and, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, but that means that if your family is booking the home birth and this is the home birth services, there is I would say that they are most likely to not get into this slot, and that's difficult. That's difficult for everyone. Especially for new doula, because she's coming with this energy of, very often, I know that we're trying to avoid that, but lots of new doulas coming with this energy, saving energy.
Yeah.
So
it's very difficult, like you said, that sort of as a doula, when you know that your clients are, you know, have that right to birth when and wherever they like, and you go in sort of saying, oh yes, of course you can, and then find that actually no, they can't, and it's really difficult not to take that on yourself as well, and feel, you know, that you know, I think we need to be really careful managing expectations of what we are able to do, because, you know, so for instance, I remember there was a doula at one point that said in her contract, guaranteed being at the birth. And I was like, you can't put a guarantee in that you're going to be at the birth, because God forbid, what happens if you have a car crash on the way there? You know, hopefully you won't be injured, but, you know, if something happened, or, you know, you just don't know what's going to happen. And so what we need to remember is that, like you said, we're not there to save people. You know, we're there to support people to the best of our ability, and, you know, and hopefully we will always be there at births, and we will be there to support people. But we also know, you know, I say, with the best will in the world, you know, all doulas have been there to support that home birth that then has ended up as an emergency cesarean section, you know, and that's okay, you know. And it's like, you know, nobody in that situation has failed, you know. Absolutely, the mother has definitely not failed, but we also haven't failed as a doula. That, you know, birth paths change sometimes, and, you know, we're there to support them with whatever birth path, you know, happens on the day. And, you know, and that's all we can do, you know.
And I think it's that is why when you finish your training as a doula, you go through this short period of mentoring. If you decide to join the Doula UK, it's not just the directory. You are under this kind of little home of doulas, and in this home, because you're new doula, you need to go through the mentoring, and but this is very short period. When you finish your mentoring, then it sometimes feel a lot overwhelming. So that is why we created the doula circle every month. Nothing is stopping you, if you're watching us, to actually speak with your mentor, maybe during, you know, I know that it's a matter of, you know, money, but investing in yourself, maybe reach out to different mentors this time. So not necessarily taking, I know that some doulas will take a mentor that is close to them in the same local area, or maybe the mentor that is actually training them, which is all okay. But sometimes maybe when you finish your mentoring, when you are on different level, when you start in working already, it's good to have someone who is outside of this your circle, of your local circle, of your training circle, your doula circle, with outside have different perspective, maybe coming from different community, maybe just have different background, to give you, to challenge you with
Absolutely.
challenging questions,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
and push you to having this conversation that I might not be very comfortable, but this person will be outside of your circle. They don't know you. They might not be local. They might be online sessions only. And I think it actually can work. And I think sometimes we might not realize the options. There's so many doula mentors, and I'm pretty sure that if you are already recognized doula, you can still, if you feel like those 4 births, because to be honest, that even if you recognize doula, that doesn't mean that you will be confident. If you did only C-sections, for example, or only home births, you might find the clients who want to go through the induction. Yes, you can learn from the books as much as you can. Maybe you went through the induction, but it's going to be different for everyone. So that's why it's good to look into that. And this is my smooth transition to, Michelle, I want you to tell us about your role and just what the mentors do and what is your role.
Right. So yeah, so at the moment, like I say, I'm the coordinator for mentoring. So with Doula UK, we have a list of mentors, both birth and postnatal mentors, that are all around the country. So as a condition of membership for Doula UK, people have to have a mentor in place. So some people choose to have a mentor from their the course provider. Or they choose to have a Doula UK mentor. There's no right or wrong. Again, it's a personal choice. But, if they choose to have a Doula UK mentor, as I said, there is a list of mentors on the website and where they live. And again, we encourage people to, look through the list, contact 2 or 3 mentors, have a chat with them, choose the right mentor for them, because again, everybody is going to need different things. Choose the mentor for them. As you've said, some people choose a mentor that is local to them. Some people choose a mentor that's further away. And again, there's no right or wrong to that. There's pluses and minuses for both of those things. But sort of chat to a couple of mentors, see who you would like to work with, and then they're there to support you through your early roles. And so as the coordinator, I just, sort of try and encourage the mentors to sort of, keep up to date with what's going on in Doula UK, etc. Like you said, we have the doula circle that doulas can sort of join and chat with other doulas in the community circle, which is another great resource. But just to be able to support doulas, sort of like you said, Doula UK, we have this thing. So Doula UK's guidelines kind of say, you will be mentored for no less than 6 months, and hopefully you'll complete your mentoring within 2 years. That doesn't always happen for various reasons, but sort of, that's kind of what the guidelines say. But we do then encourage people, as you've said, you can continue your mentoring. There are course providers out there that do ongoing mentoring, but you can certainly contact a Doula UK mentor as well and arrange mentoring, sort of once you've completed your recognition process, because I think mentoring is a really valuable tool to have, because as doulas we need to be able to reflect on our practices constantly, because it's so easy to sort of lose track of what people know and what they don't know, and how we work, etc. I think I just look back and I remember talking to one couple that I was working with, and mentioned something about the placenta being birthed, and the one partner turned to the other and kind of went, "There's something that comes out after the baby." And I remember then sort of checking myself and thinking, why do I assume that somebody knows this? You know, that I just assumed that everybody knew that there was a placenta after the baby. And it's like, and so that was kind of that minute was sort of just a check for me of, no, again, you shouldn't be assuming anything. And I think being able to check in with your mentor, you know, will do that.
Even how you work. I remember on the the previous one, the doula circle. So the doula circle is like a meeting for the doulas where you can ask the questions, you can share your stories, you can just vent. Your trust suspended the home births, come to the doula circle, we will understand. So I remember one of the ladies came in and she shared that she's actually extended her antenatal education to, I think, like 5 or 6 visits, and in the circle, like, wow, that's a lot. And then she started talking about this, and I was at the point, that was interesting point, like universe knew, because I got the feedback when I was sending my offer to the clients, potential clients. I very often got the feedback, can we cut the antenatals because my second baby, so I don't need them. And I was like considering, maybe I'm doing 3 now, but I was considering maybe I should cut to the 1 for couples who had a baby, because, you know, like maybe. But then when she came on the circle and she was talking about the reasons, especially with the parents who didn't have a doula before, who are first-time parents, or who had the previous difficult experience or traumatic experience or C-section or induction, that, you know, how does it work? Like how you know, the outcomes are much better, the parents are much better prepared. And what you say about we cannot guarantee that we're going to be at the birth, and also we are not too safe. We are not magical beings that when we will show up at the birth, everything will change for better. So it's actually all the work that we do is before birth, and then we have the result at birth. And I was thinking about it, and it was, at that moment, I was considering cutting the antenatals, but then I said to myself, like, she have a point. Like, that was like different perspective. I knew that my clients were like trying to save money here and there, but I thought about how I'm going to be useful and how we're going to, you know, create this report if we're going to meet just once, and maybe online, I don't know. And I stick to my free meetings, and I'm still offering the free meetings now.
Yeah.
Because it just kind of changed my perspective. I was looking at my issue from the point of view of the audience and the parents who were talking to me, not necessarily looking at the outcomes. I was trying to please the parents of their perspective, like of their perception of what the care they want to receive, because most of them want just to someone to I just want someone to show to my birth. I don't need education. You just show up and you do your thing, and I want to have a better birth. And like, that's not how it works. But that's me trying to please and adjust to their expectations. Because also I didn't take into account, like I knew that, but I didn't really give it a thought that they don't necessarily know yet the role of the doula. So
I think
that's helpful.
you know, so I just think back again to my personal experience, and I think, you know, I'd had 4 babies when I did my doula training, and it was things like, I remember them talking about vitamin K and thinking, all 4 of my previous babies had had vitamin K. I had no idea what vitamin K was, why they were giving it. You know, I just knew that babies had an injection after birth. And you think about it and you think, oh my gosh, you know, we're just letting people give our babies injections with no clue what it's for. You know, and I thought, you know, and like I say, and so it's that thing of, you never know what people don't know. And so this is where I said to say, you know, doesn't matter what families I am working with, I always talk through all of options and choices so people can make those decisions. But yeah, I, like you say, it's just having that thought of, you know, we don't know what people don't know, so just talk through things so people can make those decisions. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's it. Thank you very much for coming today and having a chat with me. We're gonna be on Instagram, and if there is any questions, please just let us know. If you have any questions about mentoring, or if you have any questions about becoming a mentor or anything else, let us know. If you don't want to post as your account, you can always send email to admin@Doula UK, because through the website, for example, if you want to do it that way, that is fine.
And can I just say that sort of at this time now, we are looking specifically for mentors from marginalised communities. We have quite a long list of mentors, but we would really like to encourage people, from marginalised communities to step forward, and be mentored. We are looking, there are guidelines of what doulas need to become a mentor, but we encourage anybody from a marginalised community to contact us, because we will look at everybody on an individual basis, and and hopefully sort of get more mentors in place, so there is a mentor for everyone out there.
Yeah, and that is important, because our new doulas and who are coming from different communities, it's always better, like it's easier sometimes, and we works the same like with clients. If we have a doula that we can relate to, who have know our story, roots, and the culture and faith, that it's easier and it's more culturally appropriate. And the same is for the mentors. If you are recognized doula, you can apply, you can contact us. There is, like Michelle said, there's a list of things that you need to met, but your work as a doula mentor will help us to train and mentor more new doulas coming from brown and black and minority ethnic communities. And this is exactly what we need in UK, in our communities, more doulas who speak different languages, have different skin colors, and they have different faiths and different religions. So yeah,
Absolutely.
good one.
Yeah.
And volunteering always
Oh yeah.
If you feel you want to work with some experienced doulas, new doulas, and you want to help us to create the Doula UK, please come forward. There is a plenty of space, and we need all hands. Every volunteer is valuable for us, so we will find something for you.
Absolutely, yeah, the more the merrier.
Okay, thank you, Michelle, for coming today, and yeah, and we'll answer the questions if there will be any.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.